Hi, BES remote learners. It's Miss J. I am coming to you today from the BES Learning Garden. We're going to start preparing bed number 4 for planting. There are 4 things that we're going to do today. First of all, we're going to go dig in our soil and remove all of the weeds that we had that grew over the winter, which I've started to do at the end of the bed. I'll show you. So we're taking our cultivar, remember this from last year, and we're digging up the soil and all of the weeds. See the weeds that we have? And we're going to shake the soil off of those weeds, put them in our compost for next year. Dig everything right out. So your first step is to loosen the weeds, just like that. You don't have to go down too deep. Oh, those roots are deep, actually. Getting a workout today. So there, those are all loose. And we're gonna shake out the soil, put them in the compost pile. So they'll make new soil for next year. Get all of that done. Once you've got all the weeds out, we're done with the cultivar. We're going to use our metal rake. Remember this? And we're going to smooth out the soil to make sure that we have all of the weeds out. If you remember from last year, we talked a lot about getting the weeds out of the soil, because if you leave the weeds in the soil, they're going to take the nutrients away from your plants. We don't want that. So smooth your soil out after you've taken all the weeds out. Then comes the fun part. Remember the seaweed salad? It's finished. It's ready to go in our garden. It's cold and sticky. This is the fun part. We're going to take a big handful of that seaweed salad and cast it over the soil. Really squishy. Oh, and buggy. So I put about 2 or 3 handfuls on 1/3 of the garden bed, just so you could see. And I'm going to use my metal garden rake and just mix it in a little bit. Just a little bit. That way the seaweed is covered with soil and it's not blowing around in the wind. It's kind of breezy here today. Then, if you remember, we're going to flip that rake right over and use the flat end to smooth the soil out. Nice and smooth. And then we're going to use the bottom edge to pat it all down. Remember, it's okay to step right into your garden. Pat everything down. You want that seaweed to stay in the soil. So to get your garden bed ready for planting, you want to use a cultivator. Dig up the soil a little bit. Pull out the weeds, shake off the soil, save the weeds for your compost pile, rake out the soil, put some fertilizer down, seaweed if you have it, turn your rake over, smooth it out, and let it sit for just a little bit, probably a week or 2. That way the seaweed will feed the soil. Your soil will be warm in the sunshine, be ready to plant. So if you remember from the last lesson, we planted some spinach seeds. Spinach is an annual, meaning that it grows from a seed every year. There's only one season for an annual plant. A perennial plant is multi-seasonal, meaning that it grows from roots. So the spinach that we planted will come up just once, and then that's it. So something interesting happened. I noticed when I came to the garden today, knowing that spinach is an annual, comes up one time. It has a circular life cycle. So it starts as a seed, grows into a sprout, then a stem and leaves, flower and seed. So it's a circular life cycle. It only grows for one season. Now, knowing that, when I got here today, I noticed the most interesting thing. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, it's hard for me to see if you can see this. This is growing in our garden. This, boys and girls, I believe is spinach. You see that? We did not plant this year, and knowing that it's an annual and it grows from seed, it made me wonder what happened. It's really unexpected and fun. So to make sure that it's spinach, what I did is I plucked a leaf, bent it, rubbed it in my hands, and I'm going to smell the leaves. It's spinach. It smells just like spinach. I'm not going to taste it because my hands are dirty. So what I think happened was last year when we had spinach plants out here, they flowered, which is called bolting. That's the end of their season. So the spinach plants grew so big and flowered, then they had seeds. The seeds dried and dropped into the soil and replanted themselves. So fun. Have not had that happen in our garden before, so it was really exciting to see this when I came in today. So that's our lesson today, how to prepare your garden bed this early in the spring. It's still pretty cold out. So remember, you want to use a cultivator, dig up the soil, pull out your weeds, shake off the soil, throw the weeds in your compost, leave the good soil behind, fertilize with whatever you have. Seaweed's great. Turn the soil back over, pat it down to make sure that your fertilizer stays in, let it warm up in the sunshine, and then you can do some planting. Let me know how your remote gardens are going. Miss you. Take care.